Am I the asshole for admitting to my son that I never wanted to have a child? So, I saw a post here that reminded me of my situation and it made me think to post. I have a 15-year-old son Jakob. When I was 18 I married a classmate I was dating, we were stupid teenagers and I got pregnant. He really wanted to have a kid so I was pressured into having Jakob even though I hated being pregnant and taking care of him. Our families were so disappointed that they demanded we give the baby up to somebody so that we can focus on our education. We didn't and Jakob was about 6 months old when his dad died in a motorcycle crash. About a year after I gave Jakob up to my great aunt, she legally adopted him and my life got so much better. I finished up my education and by the time I was 26, I became the manager at a club. When Jakob was 11, my great aunt was diagnosed with an illness and it was determined she could no longer care for him. So, as per her wishes, I took Jakob back and began working nights so that I could care for him even though I hate working nights. I have changed my entire schedule to accommodate for him. I never wanted to take somebody to basketball practice, drop off and pick up a bunch of kids in a carpool or have noisy Xbox games played through my apartment. But I do now and have sacrificed my entire existence for him. And here's the kicker. I actually started to enjoy it because Jakob was so great and up until a year ago I was even thinking this was a nice way to live. And then something changed, he got rude, starts throwing his backpack when he comes home, will throw away the lunch I make him, will swear and he won't even hug me anymore. We had an argument yesterday because he started watching WWE real loud instead of doing his chores and that woke me up way too early and I got very upset when he said I wanted to give him away because I don't. I admitted that I never wanted to have him but he's not some toy I can just toss away. But instead of thinking about what I said, he just started crying really badly and this morning he wouldn't even get out of bed and go to school, he just won't stop hugging me and crying. I've called in sick for tonight but I'm just wondering if I was wrong to handle it how I did. One of my friends said she would have divorced her husband if he said that to their son. Edit at 12:31 p.m. I get it. I accept the judgment of you are the asshole. I'll just use this edit as one last time to make my point clear. I love my son and I do want him in my life, that is the point I was trying to make. You are the asshole. You never, ever tell your kid you never wanted them. Your son will not ever forget this. He was already abandoned by you once. Now he knows he's one normal teenage tantrum away from you shoving him out on the streets. He was hugging you and crying because he thinks that if he doesn't, you'll just throw him away like trash. Don't expect him to stick around much longer after he turns 18. Edit. To everyone replying with how old they were when their parents said this to them, I am so sorry. You didn't deserve that. No child does. I can only wish the best for you and hope that you don't have to be in any more relationships where the other parties treat you as forced burdens. Am I the asshole for getting my uncle in trouble and causing him to lose money? I left my church recently and my dad keeps sending church members to my house to save me. Recently a pair of church volunteers came over to talk with me. They offered assistance with anything I might need, so I had them help around my farm while we talked. We talked about where they are from, they're volunteering for 2 years from out of the country, what they plan on doing when they get home, how my life's going, and why I stopped believing. The next week one of them called and said they weren't sure if they believed when they left the country, and after our talk they realized they didn't believe and wanted to return home. The problem was that their volunteer coordinator was holding on to their important documents so they wouldn't get misplaced, and one of those things were his passport. The coordinator said he would only give it back after his 2 years were finished. He asked if I could get it back for him since the coordinator is my uncle. I spoke to my uncle and he said he knew I was the one who corrupted him and basically told me to kick rocks. I told him I would call the police on him if he didn't give him back the passport, and he said I didn't have the balls. So I called the police and they redirected me to the Australian embassy. My uncle was fined quite a hefty amount and told him he had 3 days to return the passport or they would start the process to charge him with human trafficking. Word got around his church and now he's been released from his paid coordinator position. My family are saying I went too far and that I only did this because he insisted me, and that they knew he would have given the volunteer his documents back. That he has too many physical problems to get another job and I shouldn't have said anything. I'm starting to think maybe I did the wrong thing and should have tried other avenues before going straight to the police. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Not all heroes have capes, and you, sir, are a hero. If your uncle could not get another job, then he should not have been breaking the law by illegally keeping those people's documents. Your uncle's predicament is not your fault, it's his, 100%. And you saved those people who he was victimizing. Not the asshole. By holding onto the volunteer's passport, your uncle was human trafficking, engaging in modern-day slavery. Thank you for helping the volunteer out and effectively setting him free. Not the asshole. All day, every way. You were right to call him out for an illegal act. The passports are property of the issuing nation, so it was wrong for us NCLE to hold them. Case closed. Not the asshole. That church cult is basically setting up an indentured servitude situation for missionaries. They are not above the law. Am I the asshole for using the bathroom frequently on the flight? Recently I flew home for the holidays. The flight was 3 hours long. I read that you dehydrate twice as fast on a plane as you do elsewhere, so I packed 2 40-ounce water bottles and planned to drink both of them over the course of the flight. Should note I'm a pretty big person and an athlete. I booked a middle seat because I'm on a budget and I also don't particularly care about the aisle window, and I used the bathroom 4 times over the course of the flight. Each time, the person sitting on the aisle got progressively annoyed. She was sleeping and I woke her up each time. She would sigh, groan, roll her eyes, etc. whenever I got up. When I used the bathroom for the 3rd time, she asked me if I could try to hold it for the remainder of the flight so she could sleep. I should mention it was 4 p.m. and there was no time change involved. I didn't take her request too seriously and continued to drink water. When I got up for the 4th time, she told me I was rude for not following her request. I told her it was either that, dehydrate, or wet myself, and going to the bathroom seemed like the best option. She told me no one needs to drink enough to pee 4 times in less than 3 hours unless they have a bladder issue. She then asked me if I had a bladder issue and I said no, not that that's your business. I asked if she wanted to switch seats so I didn't have to climb over her, but she refused. She kept pressing me and I suggested that we flag down a flight attendant because I didn't feel comfortable resolving this on my own. The flight attendant sided with me, but at home my family had some disagreements. Some said I did nothing wrong, and that I have the right to drink water and I'm not breaking rules. But others said it was discourteous to drink that much water during S flight and that I should be able to hold it, especially if the person on the aisle is sleeping. So I'm wondering if the people of Reddit think I'm the asshole or not. You are the asshole. 3 hours on a plane isn't going to dehydrate you enough to harm you. If you plan on doing this on your next flight, pay for the aisle seat or get ready to have another pissed off seatmate. Also, as far as her wanting to sleep, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. Some people don't fly well and they sleep to help get through the flight. You are the asshole. Once or twice, sure. But 4 times in 3 hours is ridiculous. You should have booked an aisle seat if you planned on drinking an insane amount of water during the short flight. You are the asshole if you're going to chug 80 ounces of water in 3 hours. Get a damn aisle seat. If you're pissing that much, you're nowhere near dehydrated BTW. Am I the asshole for tricking my partner into eating a vegan meal? So, here's the deal. I, M43, have been vegan for about a year now, and my husband, M48, is a meat and potatoes kind of person. He loves his steak and bacon and generally isn't too interested in trying vegan options. However, I've been trying to get him to at least consider eating more plant-based meals for the sake of his health. I get worried for him sometimes because he is very fat and his BMI is also quite high. I've been trying to cook healthy meals for him, encouraging him to exercise, and getting creative with the dishes I make, but my partner just doesn't seem interested. That's why, last Saturday night, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I made a delicious vegan lasagna for dinner, not mentioning to my partner that it was completely plant-based. To my surprise, my partner loved the lasagna and even asked for seconds. It wasn't until after dinner that I let it slip that the dish was vegan, and my partner was less than pleased. I defended my decision by telling them that I've been worried for their health and want them to get skinnier and be better, but my partner said it was very immature of me and I could have talked to him directly. Am I the asshole? I fail to see how tricking him into eating something vegan is supposed to improve his health. Just because something is vegan, it doesn't make it healthier than non-vegan options. Oreos are vegan. ETA. Esh. Not the asshole. He watched you eat the lasagna, did he not? He knows you're vegan. He should have connected the dots on his own if he really cared that much. Edit. Esh. Lovely how OP left out pertinent information when submitting their post. Since you lied when your husband asked about the meal, you are an asshole too.